everyone. Welcome back to our Reflecting Back to Spring Forward live stream event from the InLearning Partnership. I'm Lena Darnay with Keep Indiana Learning, and I'm so thrilled to have Matt White join us from the Indiana Department of Education. Welcome, Matt. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Yeah, we're really excited to have you share. I think we're really in that reflective phase right now as we think about kind of wrapping up this school year, which seems crazy in January to be thinking about wrapping up a school year. But we're looking forward to taking those lessons learned. So I'm going to turn it over to you to share your 20 minutes of amazing content with Matt White.
Well, thank you very much, Lena. Welcome to all the teachers and parents that are here for today's session. I'm going to be sharing 9 ways to help kids learn how to self-reflect. And I'm really looking forward to sharing this session with you. And I hope that you can find just one thing that you can share with the kids that are in your life. So just to start us off in the chat over to the side there, I would like for you to go ahead and just tell me one thing that you did yesterday. It could be something huge if you would like I got a promotion, or it could be something very, very tiny, like I unloaded the dishwasher. So let's go ahead and put those in the chat right now. As they type away, they type away. Sending one to the dentist. Yep. And as other folks are, grilled cheese sandwiches for dinner sounds good as well. That actually, for some of us that might actually sound, feel kind of weird. We might have been thinking like yesterday, that's already over. I can hardly remember what I did this morning. Right. But so the ideas that I present today, of course, are great for kids, but some of us might really benefit as well. Just a little bit about me here. My name is Matt White, and I am a digital learning specialist here with the Indiana Department of Education. I was an elementary school classroom teacher for 20 years. I taught in Perry Township on the south side of Indianapolis. If you are interested in connecting with me, you can feel free to jot down my information now. And if you miss it, it'll be back on the screen at the end of our session. So today's theme, right, is reflecting back to spring forward. So we have to ask ourselves, why look back? Why teach kids to look back? Well, there's, significant research going all the way back to John Dewey and beyond about the importance of self-reflection in learning. When we take time to self-reflect, we're consciously thinking about our own thoughts and feelings and actions, right? Now, we can't exactly, though, tell kids, all right, everybody, it's time to consciously take time to think about our thoughts, feelings, and actions. That won't work. So we're going to kind of go in the side door. So today I'm going to present 9 activities that will help promote self-reflective thinking. Now, of course, not all of these activities will work for all kids. The age of the child and the interests and any previous experiences of that child will definitely impact which self-reflective activity that you as a parent or as a teacher might select. Let's start with reading aloud. Right? The power of reading aloud to kids is clearly connected to their development as readers and writers. We know this, right? But speaking and listening are sometimes overlooked, but definitely equally essential. When we read to kids, many avenues for reflection open up. We can model connections that we're making to any story. When I used to read the book Little Mama Forgets, and you can see it on the screen there. I read it both to my own students and to my own children. I would talk about how the main character's stories about her grandmother reminded me of my grandfather. Okay, then that could then launch me into some of my favorite stories about him. This is important modeling that we can do that can help show kids how to talk about the past, right? And when they hear us doing this, kids might even be ready to offer some of their own connections. More modeling happens when we eat together with kids at the table, right? If we just ask kids as they're, coming in off the bus, how was school? We know that they'll just say fine. But then if we model later, maybe around the dinner table, how to talk to kids about the events of the day, they might be more likely to participate. Recently, I was talking to my kids this story of how, I needed to come up with a topic for this session that you're in right now. And that just led to my daughter telling me about a recent presentation that she had done in science on the taiga. And you can see one of her slides there on the screen. If I had just asked, well, what did you learn in science today? I would have likely received one of the normal three answers. You've probably heard these before. Nothing, stuff, or I forget, right? We've all probably heard those. But because we're eating and talking together, now we have something we can reflect on. I can ask her about what went well. I can ask her what she would do differently next time. And if I'm lucky, I could ask her to kind of show me what she did and then listen to her reflecting on all of the steps that she used to complete her project. Let's kind of move beyond, though, just sitting and talking. How can we employ kids' other senses to help them reflect? Let's try this. I'm going to get you guys involved here. I'm going to play a sound, and you're going to tell me something that it helps you to remember, okay? And you're going to type this in the chat. And if you can't hear the sound, it's going to be the sound of like a clapping crowd. It's just a little 10-second thing here. So let me go ahead and play this sound. What does this sound help you remember? All right, go ahead and type those in the chat for me. What did that sound of that clapping crowd, what memory did that spark for you? Okay, and those ideas are going to be coming in here. If my son shares about how this sound makes him remember the end of his band concert, now we can, talk about how he felt before, during, and after that big concert, right? Which is an important part of self-reflections. We see a comment in the chat, that's maybe going to a performances by a band, a presentation that one of us did at school, live performances. Oh, someone saw Hamilton. I am a little bit jealous. I have not made it there. Final bow at an improv theater, right? So it gets us kind of reflecting, and the same thing can be done with kids. It doesn't just have to be sounds, though, right? Kids could smell essential oils or describe tasty foods. Even one idea that I read from the Empowered Educators website suggested to maybe end the day by having, preschoolers stand somewhere in the house or in the school or outside, right, where they felt happy, right? Then once they're there, then they can tell you why they picked that place. You can just change the word happy out with a different emotion word to change that activity. Let's go on to our next one, which is our next idea, right? We're looking at 9 ways to help kids grow as in their self-reflective abilities. Create a video is our next one, right? When your child goes to grandma's house, what do you do with all of the pictures that grandma sent you that document the entire weekend, right? I know you get a lot. Here's Emily brushing her teeth, and here's her putting on her socks. Grandma send everything, which kind of seems weird in the moment, but it's actually truly wonderful, right? Consider adding these pictures into iMovie or WeVideo to create a quick video, and then show your child to get them talking about the things that they did. Even better for older kids would be to give them the opportunity to create their own video. A lot of them would really get into that. They could choose what pictures were most important to them. Not only will this be a great opportunity for kids to self-reflect, but you yourself will end up with a little bonus memento that you'll enjoy looking at years later. And that's certainly the case with what we're going to see here. This is a video that my daughter did a few years ago after visiting her grandparents. And if you're looking at those and thinking this, you are correct. Her grandma is a retired teacher. All right. Similar to the video idea, right? We can creating a book gives kids the opportunity to self-reflect as well. Blank books from bearbooks.com were a favorite in my household and classroom. Kids can add pictures and photos retelling something that they did. Encouraging them to add thoughts and feelings that they were experiencing is a good idea as well, right? That can be really powerful. Online options work here, such as bookcreator.com, which offers just a limited free account, which is probably enough for most families. The App Store has countless other options. And if a slideshow seems more interesting, you could definitely go that route. On the screen, you can see something that my son did a few years ago after we visited a family member down at a convent in Ferdinand, Indiana. All right, how about another one for the littles? All right, encourage kids to self-reflect by creating a puppet show about maybe their day or their weekend or an important memory. You'll probably need to do the first few with them since puppet shows are not as common in our culture as they used to be. But really, once kids get going, they can definitely create these on their own. An added bonus here is that their performance might clue you in to how they really feel about something or how they're interpreting something in their world. It might be an opportunity for them to talk about something that excited them or scared them or made them happy or sad. All right, this is an exciting one. If you want to encourage kids to talk about their emotions, the Emoji Story here is a great choice. I've done an example for you. So let's say I want to reflect on my New Year's Eve. So I need some emojis, right? One easy way is to use Google Slides. I could grab a phone or something like that, but I think or I could search for emojis, but Google Slides has an easy way to do this. I just created a fairly large text box and then I click insert and special character and change it to emojis and I'm ready. So here's my emoji story so you can see if you can figure out what I'm reflecting on. It's my New Year's Eve. So I start out pretty happy in the afternoon. And then I go to a basketball game. I went to the Pacers game, and unfortunately, they lost right at the buzzer. It was very sad. So there's my sad face. Then we drove back home. We had some food, and I was happy again because, of course, food, right, makes everybody happy. And then some time goes by. I go to sleep well before midnight because I do every year, and then fireworks wake me up, and I'm not so happy. So this is a really fun strategy to kind of use to think about a recent event. So we're going to give you guys the chance. In the chat, you're going to see a link. And that link is going to lead you over to this shared document. And when you get to this shared document, I've got the directions here on the front for you, where you can create an emoji story. First thing you're going to do is to find a slide. There's lots of them that nobody's writing on, and add your name at the top and create your emoji story. So I'm going to go to slide number 3 here, and I'm going to add my name right here. And then the clicks that I need are right here in the text box. I'm going to click in the text box, and then I'm going to choose Insert and Special Characters. And then I can change, well, I've already changed it to emoji, but it starts out at symbol, and then just change symbol to emoji. And then you are going to have those the emojis that you can tell your own emoji story here in the box. So I'm going to give everybody a moment to click on that link. And can head to try to do an emoji story. It's just kind of a fun way. If you're not sure what topic you could do, you could do New Year's Eve as well. You can see Alicia's starting to add her emoji story there. I've got a lot of screens here, so here's another one. It's also kind of fun to try to figure out before you know this story, to try to figure out what might have happened just based on looking at the emoji story. So one thing you can do is grab a copy of that file, right? And can we reshare the link? Alicia, if you wouldn't mind resharing that link there in the chat. I think Alicia's going to grab that here for us. All right, I'm gonna keep going. I think that we're gonna grab that link there in the chat just in case you haven't gotten it yet. But the emoji story, great idea. All right, drawing and journaling. These are two, that you certainly would have expected to see here in something about self-reflection. Here they are. However, I want to really encourage you to kind of go small with this, right? Buying a blank composition book and telling kids that they can write or draw on it as a journal will work for some kids. However, the blank page is often, kind of intimidating. So for these kids, consider going small, right? You could buy or make a tiny book. I have myself a 1 line a day journal that I use for I guess, self-reflection that fits about 1 sentence, maybe 2 shorter ones. Many kids might actually find a smaller space more freeing. And our last idea here is to make a portfolio of work. Okay, just a little story for you. I once had a kindergarten teacher in my building tell me that kindergartners have difficulty really revising anything because they've not really heard constructive criticism before. Everything they did, right, no matter how much effort they put into it, went right on the refrigerator for everyone to see. I know that's certainly the way that was in my house as well. And this teacher said that it was hard sometimes for kindergartners to understand that their work can have varying degrees of quality. And so you can consider having kids reflect on their work by creating a portfolio of their best or their most meaningful work. I'd suggest limiting their selections to a specific number to really help them make those reflective choices. Asking kids to collect their 3 most meaningful pieces of work and then add them to the portfolio, whether it is the refrigerator or a simple folder or maybe screenshots pasted into a set of slides. That'll lead kids to reflect on their work and possibly open up the opportunity for us to ask them questions about what they decided to include. All right. I hope that you've enjoyed this presentation. I'm interested, before we go here in the chat, if you could let me know which of these ideas that might be something that you use with your own children or with students in a classroom. If you could pick one or more and put it in the chat, and please feel free to elaborate on why you picked that one.
While they are adding those on there, I want to take this chance to say thank you, Matt, for being here today. Thank you so much for sharing these really great ideas. I loved thinking about how to engage. I have a middle schooler, and if there's any group of kids that's hard to get past that I learned nothing at school today phase, it's a middle schooler.
Yeah,
And I've already thought,
I bet you've heard "I forgot" plenty of times, right?
yeah, I don't know, nothing. Yeah. So I love the emoji stories. I think that's one that he would really love. He could text them to me maybe instead of doing something more formal like we might do in class. So that was a great idea. That was my note here, is to try that. So thank you for sharing such tangible, applicable tricks to do with our students, with our own kids at home, with each other. And we really appreciate you being here on the live stream today. Everyone watching, thank you so much for joining us. Thanks for chatting. Thanks for putting your voice into this session. And we will see you at the top of the hour, 2 o'clock, for our next session. And on behalf of the InLearning Partnership, thank you so much for being here, Matt. And we will see you next time.
Thank you. Thank you very much.